So, happy July, happy new month in this calendar, and you are
Wow,
live as
it's actually the first.
yes, and you are live with Xaye Devann.
Yes,
How
we
are you?
are.
How are you, Zay Faith?
I'm great. How are you?
Amazing.
Yes. So we believe that this is the month of justice.
Hmm.
Boom, boom, boom. So we are calling this Justice July 2024. And
Hmm.
when it just because every month we have a theme to keep us in the energy of what we're creating. And when we were talking about it this morning, it was like, oh, from it came out to me. I'm like, this is Justice July. Like we get to, and y'all know I love my definitions. When you look up the word justice, it means just behavior or treatment, the quality of being fair and reasonable. And then of course it's very political, right? A lot of when people think of justice, they think of like what's the word doing? They think of the more
Criminal law, justice.
yeah, like the lawful terms. So the administration of law or or authority in maintaining this, a judge or magistrate, in particular a judge of the Supreme Court, right? But when I think of justice, right, I'm thinking of, the equality, the fairness. um I'm thinking of, being right and fair, right, being
Hmm.
exactly. And so when I think of justice, I'm thinking of we get to choose to be just we get to be fair, aligned, right, equal with the identity of who we want to be. We get to have justice in our health. We get to have justice, in relationships, in our birthrights, financial birthrights,
Hmm.
and our joy. We get to choose that. We're not victims. I'm super triggered when people play victim, when people want people to feel sorry for them. Like we get to release oh my gosh, I'm actually reading this book and it's over there and I want to go grab it. Um Reverend It's a book about Reverend Ike, and just the mindset on the black community, it just hurts my feelings so much. Actually, I want to go get this book. And then I want you
You
to
go get
start
it.
yeah, you start like
Yeah,
bringing it in.
yeah, yeah.
And
I continue.
yeah. And I want to get this book so then that way I can kind of read some of the stuff that I just feel like is holding the black community back. But I'll be right back, okay?
Yeah, no problem. And so, yeah, when it comes to justice, it's really it's really about creating a more harmonious world, a more a stable world, a stable society, and creating trust and confidence around that. And really, just us as individuals, as leaders, being accountable for our actions and our decisions. But it's like, okay, there's not gonna be justice until we actually like create justice within ourselves.
Right.
Because a lot of the time we are condemning ourselves for based on a story we told ourselves, and we're doing
Yes.
we're creating self sabotage and this conflict within ourselves that gets to be released, and it's not helping our leadership. It's actually holding us back rather than helping us forward. And so, to like even just this July is about really rethinking your core values and purpose, and committing to that, because committing to your values and your purposes is going to create justice within yourself. And why? Because it's going to influence your decision making process. It's going to influence how you feel and how you feel about contributing to maybe your unique perspective on a certain topic, or what something that's really near and dear to your heart. You get to feel empowered around speaking on that. You get to feel empowered around embodying that in your life, because if you're not prioritizing what you actually want within your life, you're really not. You're just in one spot. Really, you're not actually. You think you're moving forward, but you're on those walking treadmills. You know that walking treadmill machine. You're walking mad fast, but you're not actually going nowhere. That's basically what it is. And so we don't get to do that. We didn't let's actually run instead of using the machines. You know, I mean, of course we've got to embrace technology, but you know what I mean. Like in all we do, in all our actions and decisions, it gets to be us. You know, it gets to be true to us. It doesn't get to be in conflict around. It gets to be ease and grace around it, and aligning with people, aligning with well, first before even aligning with people, align with your vision, align with what's divine to you, align to your values, align to what makes you you, what makes you feel alive, what makes you want to, what do you strive for, what do you thrive for. So like for example, like every day I say to myself, as part of my as an invocation, I seek to bring harmony and balance to every aspect of my life. And so if you ask yourself that, if you state that, make that statement to yourself, and even ask yourself, what does that even mean for you to create harmony and balance within every aspect of your life? That means to release conflict within yourself. That means to create a sense of cohesion where your work and your life is not knocking heads, and you actually feel you feel good about what you're doing because you're using your time and your energy and your resources wisely. And so the same way the environment or the earth would like to be treated is the same way you get to actually treat yourself. So let's this is another thing that perspective that came to my mind is that, let's say when you know in an environment they say, oh, reduce waste, you know, like you know, manage your energy consumption, you know, manage your resources in your environment, like make sure you clean up for yourself. That gets to be you in your commitments and your responsibilities to yourself and to what your mission is. So again, like reduce waste consumption. Like, are you consuming media that's not serving your highest good? Are you consuming media that is messing with your identity? Are you consuming food that is just a waste to what your body wants or craves or needs? I'm not talking addiction, but I mean you get to release that as well. But everyone has their sweet tooth, or maybe they have their vice, but you get to reduce the weight race reduction, you know, sustainable, guys, sustainable, and of course resource management and energy consumption. What we take in also reflects how we feel and how we think. So are we creating justice for our bodies? Are we creating justice for our mind? Are we creating justice for our spirit? And it's not just justice in terms of the law sense. It's not just justice in terms of, okay, this is what's on paper, but it's justice within each and every one of us is what's going to create a forward thinking, a harmonious society, because this world is not even a world yet unless it's civilized. we're just a planet right now. um we're not even there, we're not even close to civilized compared to what could be done in this world. And we're getting there. It'll take a while, but everyone has to everyone has to realize how much power they have within themselves, because everyone affects those around each other. So you get to manage yourself really, because you are a resource to yourself. You're a resource to other people in your workplace. So if you're a resource, that doesn't that mean you're valuable? It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You're still valuable in some way, but you get to identify what that is and stand for that. Like, are you someone that you feel is caring? Are you someone that you feel is empowering? Are you someone that you feel is innovative? If you stand for that, stand for it, because then now you get to create justice for yourself, and now you get to stand for what's within, because the inner world creates the outer world. So whatever's going on inside of you, whatever you're standing for within yourself, and then you project it forward in a positive manner, justice is served. Let's just say that. Justice is served. Your Honor, bam. Put
Yes,
the hammer down. You got the book, babe?
I do. I do. So I would say I'm relatively new to Reverend Ike, but like I started listening to him on YouTube and I'm obsessed. Number one, it is so beautiful to have, I'm 30 and I'm really just understanding the power of representation.
Mm,
At one point I thought that it didn't matter, but I will say I feel myself um locking in into my voice, my power, whenever I see a black person, a brown person, African American. I'm still haven't even like chose like how do I want to identify with that. Um, it supports the faith to know like, oh, it is possible because look at someone who done it, like who looks
hmm
like me.
hmm
It doesn't feel like it reduces those barriers of, well, but they got privileges. And
Yeah.
so listening to Reverend Ike has definitely been so supportive to me on my spiritual journey. Maybe it's been over a year. I don't remember whenever I don't know when I started listening to him. Maybe it was earlier this year or sometime last year. But so, and I also introduced him to my mom. So my mom went and bought like all his books, and so we're reading, and learning about him. But this is the book that actually his son and one of his protege wrote about his life. And so something that really stood out to me is just his relationship with his mom. Because if you listen to Reverend Ike, he always teaches that God is within you, right? There,
Yeah.
like praying to, somebody in the sky and waiting for our blessings. That is not the way of life. That's not the way it was meant to be. Pretty much, he's saying theologists have misinterpreted, and religious folk, like they have misinterpreted what the Bible was actually saying. And I'm not religious. This is just for me, like this is the resource that I have
Mm,
that is in alignment, because I do believe when he says the God is within you, I definitely believe that um like I am one with the universe. I don't believe that,
mm. Babe, show us the cover. Show us the cover.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So anyone wants to get that book, you know where to get it. That's called Reverend Ike. What's it say?
An extraordinary life of influence.
Yes, yes, yes. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just don't believe all the religious stuff, me personally. And when I listen to him, I mean, and again, I'm relatively new to him. So I'm actually like, because at first I was just listening to him and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's like actually saying, but it's like for me, he feels like that bridge to people to actually step into a true spiritual level of consciousness, right?
yeah,
That's just my opinion, but I'm still like learning. But there hasn't been any red flags to me where he was confused, because there are a lot of people who say like they're not religious and clearly they are,
yeah.
but they just try to manipulate it to fit into it. But this feels very pure to me.
And even
But
the times that he spoke in as well, I was like,
yeah,
is
like his story is really crazy. I mean, crazy in like what he created,
very early.
and who, and, yeah. And so I'm reading this, but the relationship with him is his mom has been very interesting. And so he pretty much you can read the story, but for the people who won't, because some people are just resistant, his mom was pretty much through and through. They're from South Carolina. I think they were Baptists. I think they were, or no, they weren't Baptist. I don't remember what they were, but she was a Christian through and through. But she actually got a divorce from her husband, who is Reverend Ike's dad, pretty much because her dad was super ambitious and he saw himself a successful black man back in those days, and she divorced him because she was like in my own words, like pretty much you're a heathen, like this is impossible for black people, like you're like black
Wow.
people can't have that because we're black. And so this is actually, and I want to find the specific, I should have highlighted it, but and I knew I should have, but this is one of the sections. It says, regardless of how she behaved during their courtship, the truth was she had never believed in him and didn't want him to succeed as a dignified businessman. His Reverend Ike's mom to her husband. To her, a Negro was a sufferer, a person to whom God's promises didn't apply, and pain and sacrifice were the trade off for the hope and possibility of some future glory in the afterlife. In Rima's world, that's Reverend Ike's mom, this was what the Lord expected and decent people accepted. Only the lowest hell-bound sinners would dare question this truth. So that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, so
Yeah.
many black people expect to suffer. So many black people don't feel
Mhm.
deserving and worthy to be successful because this is how black, especially black Christians, this is how they see themselves, right? And
Mhm.
so it goes on, but so and then so it was another one. Um so this is like later in the book, but then it says uh, uh okay.
But that's crazy though. It speaks to every like aspect of life, because even like in it speaks on like justice in the criminal reform sectors and stuff like that. The reason why is it's quote unquote a lot of black people in these prisons and stuff like that is because of that as well. It's like they don't see themselves as worthy, so they have to sacrifice or do these suffer by putting themselves in the wrong place in the wrong situations because they feel
Yeah.
there's no other way out. You know what I mean? Or like,
And then I'm trying to find it exactly, but I was just like, this kind of hits the point too. It says years later, he recalled that his mother's life had been a struggle against confusions and fear. She
mm,
had been a brilliant woman academically, but in other areas, she had been a hostage to beliefs steeped in the virtues of poverty and the expectations of suffering and illness. When she died, Dad made the funeral arrangements and notified her people down around Savannah. Okay, then it just goes in. But even that little piece where
mm,
she's smart academically, she's smart based on what based on what they taught her to be smart around, right? Because you can be academically educated, but that does not mean that you're intelligent in spirituality. That does
mhm,
not mean, because even it goes on in a different part that I just read today or yesterday, and it was just saying that, even Reverend Ike, he grew into to be like a conscious reverend,
yeah, yeah,
because when he went to his school and everything, he learned what everybody else learned, but it was just something inside of him that was like, okay, let's challenge this. Like, is this really real? Like, are we just going to go in? I mean, of course, they try to set up schooling to where, it's so structured where you can't think for yourself. But,
mhm,
so where was I going? Where was I going with that? But because my brain is just like firing off at how this whole conversation around justice, like, yeah, you can be an expert in one field, but even Reverend Ike was successful when his mom passed away, and because of her relationship with her husband, because I mean, when she met him, he was already ambitious, but she just thought that it was temporary and that he would like become docile. I don't know
mhm.
how the word comes.
Docile.
but that's just really who she was. So even after Reverend Ike had already had a successful ministry up in Boston, he'd be like, hey mom, I'm doing really well, like, and he would like, help her. She'd be like, where you getting all this money from? You're just making this up and you're just like doing bad stuff. Like, she never believed that he is who he is. Like, she thought that he was just lying. Like, you're just like your dad. Like, you're just like all the men on your dad's side. Like, y'all just be making stuff up. Like, this isn't possible for black people. When we know, like, Reverend Ike is like one of the biggest reverends ever, for our
Mhm.
black community. So it's really,
Crazy.
this whole month about Justice July for me is really about breaking the poverty and suffering expectations all over my life, in my health, in my mindset, in my energy, in my spirituality, you know, all over my life, I get to be fair, right? With
Mhm.
my identity of myself. And also, I get to raise the level of excellence all around me, because there's no way that we will succeed if, like, for instance, and that story goes on, he actually left South Carolina right after that, just because of some stuff. Y'all got to read the story. I'm not about to give y'all all of the story, but he actually left South Carolina after that, and he never came back because um of some stuff that happened with the family. And it was just saying, like, had he not left, he probably wouldn't have we probably he wouldn't have never became the reverend who he actually became. Like, the reason why he became, and it talks about, you know, the transformation of a caterpillar to a butterfly. And they said, you
Mhm.
know, when all that stuff was happening, just like whenever a caterpillar is crystallizing inside of a cocoon, like, that's what was happening inside of him, you know, even though you can't see it, like, stuff is stirring up inside of us. And when he left, like, that allowed him to thrive. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he was hurt, and
Powerful.
there was other things. If you read the story, like, there's some things that actually happened. It was like, dang, like, that's messed up. But because of his character, because of his integrity, he actually never really called out any of the people who, like, hurt him or whatever. Hurt, you know. And so yeah, for this is the month of justice. Like, we get, like, we're not victims. Like, I'm so tired of people blaming and people pretending like they're incapable. Like, you you get to be responsible. We all doing the work. We're all doing the work. We're all facing fears. We're
Mhm. Yep.
all, you know, making sacrifices. Did I really feel like, oh, you know, let me, well, actually today I felt pretty good, but it took me a moment to get in this energy that I'm in right now. I was responsible enough, and I prepared myself for this live. You get what I'm saying? Did I want to? Not
Mhm.
really. I would rather just be working on the other tasks that our team got us doing, but here I am, because this is a commitment, because we're being responsible, because we are choosing to to be responsible and not wait for things to happen for us. Like, I'm so tired of victim people. I'm
Mhm.
so over people feeling sorry for themselves. I don't get to feel sorry about myself. I don't get to lay down and then have $1 million in my account. Well, six figures at this point, but, you know, I get to work, I get to think, I get to invest, I get to grow, I get to read every day, I get to challenge myself. So that's the fight for justice, for our higher identity. That's the fight, that's the work we get to do. Do you want to? I don't think none of us want to, for the period and the time and the energy it takes. But do we want, I don't want this, I don't want to stop here though. Like, I feel
Mhm.
like for all the people, no matter what you believe in, it is an insult to the source to just stop here. Because yeah, we may be good, but what about the contribution? And, like, this whole new thing about legacy, like, um I never really took on that role. Like, I mean, I thought like it would just happen. But I'm really being like, oh my god, goodness, I get to be intentional about what the legacy is. I don't just get to say, hey, I'm creating legacy and it'll fall in
Mhm.
place. Oh, I get to meticulate.
Yes.
I get
And
to
articulate
I get to curate it.
that
I
too.
get to design it. I get to structure it. I get to build it. I get to be in it. Like, and you know, this is I have, and that's probably why I'm so fired up, because there was a moment when I just thought like things would happen, and I'm like, well, I'm showing up, I'm here, so things are just gonna work. Like, you know, something's gonna happen. And that's not how the world works, like, at all. It's like whatever we put our energy, and that's mental energy, emotional energy, you know, physical energy. aka our attention, aka our focus, what we put our
Mhm.
energy into, what we put our time into, what we put our money, our currency, our transactional currency, because it's just a way. I mean, we live on planet Earth, and every people swear things aren't fair. There are some things that are not fair. Yes, yes. And with every seed of opposition is an equivalent seed of value, of abundance, of what is it?
A seed of equivalent benefit.
Benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, and so it's about when it comes to being equitable. It's like, are you being fair to yourself? Are you being fair to that energetic bank account that you got within you? Because again, your energy is a resource. Your energy is an asset. So are you being fair with how you're managing that? Are you being fair with how you manage this I don't want to say prison that we create for ourselves for no reason. Like with the mental slavery is not just imposed by the media. The media does it on autopilot, but even worse, we do it to ourselves
Yeah.
because we know what's going on, but we still allow it. Why? We don't
Mm.
get to.
Yeah. I think what's coming up for me is just the invitation to be really mindful of what do you believe and why you believe it.
Mm, yeah, yeah,
And even if you believe something and you know, like, I'm solid on this belief, still be like, why are you, what are you trying to be right about? Like,
hmm,
at the end of the day, we are literally energetic. Like, without our body, we there still is a consciousness, whether you believe it or not. Like, look at science or whatever, quantum physics. Like, there are different sciences that back up this stuff. We are a consciousness, and we literally are on a rock in the middle of nothingness. Well, I'm not gonna call it nothing, but you know what I mean. We're like in the middle of a galaxy.
yeah, yeah. My,
So,
my, my spiritual teacher always says that beliefs evolve. So it doesn't matter where you are right now in your education. Remember, there's always another level. Remember that. I
I
promise there's
say
another
for
level.
real.
So
Yeah.
so be open to what that looks like. You
It's
know.
like, what are we trying to be right about? Like, and that's the thing. It's like whenever you are like, for instance, his mom, like his son literally became a a huge world leader, huge world trainer, a
Yeah.
world leader, world changer. And she just didn't want to believe it. Even though he had the physical manifestation, she still was like, oh, and it even said it like, I can probably find the page. And it literally was saying, like, oh, he ain't really doing nothing. He just making this, like, literally, oh my God, the page that I just, oh, and I'm glad I kept it bookmarked. It was like, he was like, you know, okay, let me actually read like the conversation between them.
Yeah, because that's some cognitive dissonance and a half.
It would say he pulled out $100 bill and held it up to her. She sat there as though she hadn't even seen it. Mama, this is yours. You can keep it. I'm giving it to you as a gift. She wanted to know, where did he get all that money from all at one time? Mama, I'm doing well at the ministry, as a minister in Boston, making myself a fine living. Preaching? She asked. You're making all that money in the church? I'm doing well, Mama. How much can you be making as a preacher, son? Mama, my accountant says that last year I made almost $30,000. Say what? She snapped the way Southern women do. You made $30,000? Now, whom ever heard of that? A boy like you earning that sort of money? You get on out of here for telling that kind of lie. It's the God's honest truth, Mama. You've got to believe me when I tell you. She never believed him. Oh, he's not doing anything special, she would say. He's like all the rest. I barely know how to say his last name. He's like all the rest of the Iconotter side of his family with his big ideas. Them and their big ideas and their big minds. Their minds get so big most of the time that they can't tell what's going on. Yeah.
Crazy.
Despite her stush beliefs about poverty, Dad said he'd go by the house every so often and stave off his mother's martyr talk, and he put a bunch of money in her lap. Despite her allegiance to poverty, it sure did make her happy. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that literally was a conversation with him and his mom, and he's showing her proof,
That's
and
crazy.
she didn't want to believe it.
Well, you hear them words, allegiance to poverty. That's a
Yeah,
allegiance, yo. That's deep
yeah,
because that's what it
yeah.
is. It's like you become. It's like you become the servant, not the master now. All of a sudden,
Mm.
it's like,
Yeah. You know, I up until recently, I was highly triggered with this whole spiritual conversation. Like before, like okay, and we ain't gotta go too far, but like, I've been on my spiritual journey since I was a child, but normally, you know, I thought I would just start here. I just thought like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna just build my life and like let this, you know, let people believe what they want to believe. But recently, y'all, within like the last month, Shorty got triggered. Like someone, I felt attacked on my spirituality, and I'm
mm,
like, why does it matter? Why does it matter if I call the universe? Like, why do you have to be so right? I'm so tired of people thinking like they doing great and they not. You a fraud. Let me look at that definition. Hypocrite. Golly, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Google this.
oh my gosh, like this book is so on time because it's like, oh,
Yeah.
actually, I think I was listening to somebody, but it's like when it comes to our spirituality, and this is not about, well, maybe it is. What the van said, everything we do is spiritual.
Yeah.
Everything we do is spiritual. And
Remember, it's
so,
justice within yourself. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. Your soul expressing itself in this physical container. So again, it comes back. Justice starts from within.
say that again. You are a
Just
soul.
you are a soul inhabiting this spiritual container, what you call a body. Your soul is tied to your consciousness. Your consciousness is has two forms to it: the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious mind is your basically the operating system of your mind and all you do. Subconscious is the operating system of your actions. So like anything that happens, like your actions and your behaviors are dictated by what's happening in that subconscious mind. It's happening in your consciousness. So there's always these there's triggers, there's belief systems that are tied towards our actions and behaviors, but some of them are not serving us. And so that's why we get to have justice for where our consciousness gets to go, where our consciousness gets to evolve and expand, because we're literally imprisoning ourselves by not being responsible for ourselves because we don't know ourselves and we're not identifying and determining who we are because we've been programmed and led to believe we are something other than we're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we get to peel the layers on that and really let's get down to it. And so what you're talking about, Zay, is that is you're correct. Like who gets to say what you're doing because again your beliefs evolve. Your journey is your journey. If someone comes to you with another perspective, yeah, you can evaluate that. You can uh, um, entertain that if that's something that serves your highest good. But if someone's coming from a state of judgment or a state of persecution or anything like that, and
Mm-hmm.
just pure ignorance,
Yeah.
it's like if you know better, you do better, and if you know better, you won't even entertain the ignorance and whatnot because you get to call out. You get to even on the external level now. You get to hold them accountable for their ignorance and their actions because they are like, what are they really saying? Because I remember even Napoleon Hill. Remember that phrase in a private lecture that Napoleon Hill had, and he's like, Napoleon Hill asked this guy Parsons. He's like, do you believe in this? He's like or do you believe this exists or whatnot? He says, no, I know it exists. It's like, but how do you know? I, said, I just believe it is, but how do you know, Parsons? How do you know? How do you know,
For
Parsons? You
real.
don't know. Have you inspected it before you selected? Have you like have you evaluated the situation? And he hadn't, so he didn't
Yeah.
really know. And
Yeah.
so you some don't let your beliefs limit you or catch you in a in another mental prison that you create for yourself.
Mhm.
You we need to find them keys and start unlocking the doors and tearing down those mental prisons that we create for ourselves, because it's not healthy. It doesn't form progression. And justice is about progression. Justice is about creating harmony within yourself and harmony within the environment around you. So what are you gonna do about that?
Yes, yes. So let's go ahead, declare in the chat. What are you com- demanding justice for this month? What are you demanding justice for in your life this month?
Let me talk,
Devan,
let me talk about that.
let's start with you. What are you demanding justice for in your life this month?
Ooh, I like that. So I think I wrote this down. I'm demanding justice for my my work. I'm demanding justice for work life cohesion. And what I mean by that is work and life is steady, but it's not always the case. And how I get to be in charge of how I manage that with my mind and elevate it. I'm quite good at it at the moment, but I get to be so much better, and I know I can be. So I demand that for myself. I demand I demand justice for being a leader who holds other leaders accountable and like following through on their actions the way I get to follow through on my actions, and really elevating my mind around what can be created.
Mm,
Because last month I created I definitely created some result and some opportunities, and I'm like, okay, if I've done that, how can I do that every day? What if I could do that every day? Entertain those beliefs. Entertain and believe. I'm demanding justice for entertaining beliefs that evolve me.
right.
You know, that's what I'm entertaining. That's what I'm holding justice for. Beliefs that are gonna evolve me and expand my consciousness, my mind, expand the possibilities for anyone that I speak to or that hears my voice as well.
Hmm.
How about you?
I align with that so much. Um, this month I am demanding justice for this month I am demanding justice for, I mean, for me it's the same. But I will say something that definitely like is taking first place is for my connection with the source,
Mm.
and also the relationship with my ancestors.
Oh yeah, that too.
Because that's where we get wisdom from. Like, our journey is about our journey is about our journey is about, I think, healing parts of ourself at a cellular level. And
Hmm.
as we dig deeper into our spirituality, not only do we get to break, that's how I believe that's how we break generational curses, by healing ourselves at a cellular level, full ownership and being responsible, and to, going forth and creating the legacy. But I definitely, this month I demand justice for my spiritual relationship
Mm.
to the universe, and also for the legacy that I choose to create. Then also my health, I get to be in optimal health. I'm doing a detox this month. I'm also going to be offering a challenge, and it's something that I want to keep. I'm thinking about like keeping it at 2 weeks, so that way it can be something we do every single month. And then also, um, find my financial freedom. I get to continually be a currency expert. And for me to release the poverty and suffering identity as a Black being, that we have, because it's traumatic. It's deep. It's PTSD in it. I'm the first person in my family that I know talk and think like this. Everybody else, I'm the weirdo. Like, I even told my mom this weekend, I was like, I'm your weird child, huh? She was like, yep, you sure are. And I love it. I'm the weird child in my
Yep, same.
family. I'm the weird one, and I am gonna get, like, literally. I raised my voice at my brother yesterday because I'm like, I do not believe that. Like, we are not victims, and I'm gonna stand up. And you can. He was insulted for a little bit, but then he talked to me last night, so I think we're good. But like, I am not accepting mediocrity. I am not going to keep people comfortable no more. I'm not agreeing with your low level mediocrity bullshit thinking. No, it is not helpful. Even if everybody's so damn right about their beliefs and their religions and all this, and they're doing great, I get to choose what I believe in, and I'm going to make it right. And it's going to work not only for me, but it's going to work for generations and society as a whole.
Yes,
I'm not going to conform to something that I don't like. A lot of people are just saying they're Christians, so because I literally was talking to this guy back in the day, and he literally was like, no, I'm not really Christian, but but I still say that he was like, no, I really don't believe it, but I just say it just in case.
nah, that's a just
He
in
told me
case.
that.
That's
I was
crazy.
like, what? I was like, bro, you
How do you
can't
say just in
pick
case?
a side, bro. Pick a side. If you are, you are. It's okay. But don't be out here just saying. But he was literally like, no, I really don't believe it, but I'm just gonna, I just
We're in the
say,
chat. We want justice, not just in case.
yeah. Like, so yeah, so those are
Yo,
my
that's
three.
crazy.
Definitely healing and spiritual healing and conviction. Spiritual healing and conviction. Number 2 would be my health. My health. Hello, Xaye. You are responsible for your health. You get to be mature about your health. So what if the cake is good? So what if you love gummies? You get to be responsible,
No, not
and
the gummies
if
though.
you're justice for health, justice for health, justice for health, justice for health. And number 3, my money, my bag get to be big. I'm about to create some miracles. I declare that Shorty will be a millionaire at the end of this year. Well, actually, as soon as fucking possible. I'm not even gonna say by the end of this year. I am a millionaire. 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 Today, not a 6-figure in there. I have multiple millions in my account right now.
Yes, multi-millionaire.
Yes, we are.
And with that, it's a wrap, folks.
Yes. So, no, seriously, y'all, like, this is beautiful. Like, whenever you're watching this, even if you're watching it now, you're like, dang, they literally just said this a day ago or last week. So you get to be on this journey with us, and demand your justice. Or if you're watching this like 5-10 years from now, you're like, dang, like, I remember that live that they did, and now they fucking billionaires 10 years later. Like, I mean, honestly, don't believe me, just watch. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, we are. I'm being fearless again. Like, if I'm scared of anything, I should be. What if gravity just stopped today? That's what I need to be afraid of.
Gravity. I will start levitating. That's what happened.
But imagine levitating in the middle of space, then we just start off shooting Earth, and then flowing through the galaxy.
But you mean the whole gravitational pull of Earth? That's a madness. You get pulled towards the sun.
Imagine.
You pulled
If
towards
gravity stopped, we all start levitating up into the ethers, and then we just go and go. Then we in the middle of nowhere. Then we in complete. That's what we need to be afraid of. I'm not about to be afraid of making money.
We don't need to be afraid of that either. Huh? We don't need to be afraid of that either. So wait, all the way left. I was like, what? You don't need to be scared of anything, okay?
Well, I'm just saying. People so comfortable with gravity, but it ain't guaranteed.
Ask the 80-year-olds they're comfortable with gravity. They were out here limping. Nah. They're not comfortable with no gravity.
No, people are like, because imagine if gravity stopped right now, we flowing into the middle of the galaxy.
Oh
We just
man,
flowing into the middle of darkness. Imagine
middle of darkness, crazy.
into the abyss. Because apparently they saying we the only human form. That's what they saying. We the only
Allegedly,
human form ever. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And that we can see scientifically. That's what they saying, and that's what they reporting. Now, what the truth is, we don't know. They probably done found a whole different, you know what I'm saying? It might be a whole different planet with people, and they just not tell. We don't know. We don't know, Parsons. Parsons, we don't know. But what I'm saying is, what if gravity just decide to stop working today? And we just start floating, and we, you know what I'm saying? We just floating, and then we just keep floating, and we passing the moon, and we just now we all die at that point because they saying there ain't no oxygen up there. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm just saying is there's other things we could be afraid of, but what's here?
justice for balance.
Justice for gravity.
Justice for gravity.
But anyways, yeah, man, this is probably like one of my most freest.
Yes.
I feel like I'm in a new. Normally, shorty's all posh. I mean, I even got my little nice shirt on, honey.
Amazing.
But I just feel very like I feel like I'm at a new. Oh my gosh, y'all! Actually, yes, I am because I haven't been back. You know, the band did the lab last week. I went on a spiritual retreat. That's why I'm at a whole new level, honey.
Oh, you forgot, yeah.
Now I ain't forget, but I'm just like, dang, today feel different. It's like my bandwidth is expanded. Like there's no ceiling. There's no ceiling. There's no
Man, open
ceiling.
space.
Yeah, like I
So
probably
what's the word? What do you call it when the cars with the covers back?
no. What I see is there's no limitation. There's nothing. Like you know what I'm saying? Like yeah. Anyways, y'all, this has been probably one of my favorite lives because yeah. So definitely, we are also like interested, like, what do you act like? What conversation do you want us to go down for real, for real? Because I know we be throwing a lot because we're actually living. We're actually living. We're not stuck in little cubicles. So it's like, we actually bring our real life. So I mean, like what stands out to you the most? Is it the business? Is it the productivity stuff with the okay, is it business as in like our journey on our how we do business, or is it like the service that we provide as far as like supporting people to be more clear in their life as far as productivity, time management, skills, and all that? And spirituality, relationship, Devann and I, like what will be the most supportive to your journey? Definitely let us know, and we will see you next week. Definitely go ahead and subscribe, and make sure you also check out some of the other videos on our channel, and we will see you on the next live.
Take care, guys. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Share with someone who knows needs this, and justice for July. Let's go.